In today's lesson, you're going to be learning Enchanted by Taylor Swift, and by the end of this lesson, you'll be sounding like this. Now this is a great song with only 5 chords you need to know and really simple strumming. The one challenge will be the bar chord we're introducing today, which will be a great challenge for you and a great opportunity for you to keep on improving. Alright, now before we get into the chords, we're in standard tuning and we've got our capo on the 1st fret. And if you are looking to learn some beginner chords and some easy strumming as well, you can find that in my free 5-day beginner course. There's some great lessons in there to work on your technique, so go check that out in the description below. And here are the chords for Enchanted. We're beginning on a G major, alright? So we're playing all 6 strings. We've got a 3rd fret of the 6th string, 2nd fret of the 5th string, open 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and then 3rd fret of the 1st string. That's our G major. Next up, we've got a B minor. This is our bar chord. That's going to be a little bit challenging for some of you beginners, but it's really worth putting in the time to practice. Now I'll give you some tips as well along the way so that you can start to feel confident with your bar chords and start to really improve your technique there. So this is our B minor. Now that's barred on the 2nd fret from the 5th string to the 1st string. We're barred for that 5th string. Then we've got our ring finger and pinky on the 4th fret of the 4th and 3rd strings. Our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then with the bar there on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. So you should hear these notes. That's our B minor. Now let me just give you a few tips before we move on to our next chord. The first tip is that we're not going to be using the flesh of our finger. We're going to be using the side of our finger so that we can get extra strength on that one, alright? So try and use the side of your finger to get a bit more strength in there. And you want to bring it up as close to the fret as you can to make sure it's easier and you don't have to press as hard. Now the next tip is that I've got my thumb sitting behind my hand to really give me a bit of strength, but I'm also tucking this elbow into my body so that I can pull the guitar a little bit towards me. I'm not trying to bend it or anything like that, but by anchoring with my right arm, that's my strumming arm, and then pulling in with my elbow there, I'm able to get a bit more strength on my bar chord. And that's our B minor. Those are the tips that are going to get you started on bar chords at least. The next chord we've got is a C major. We're playing from the 5th to the 1st string. We've got a 3rd fret of the 5th string, 2nd fret of the 4th, open 3rd string, 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then open 1st string. Just those 5 strings. C major. The next chord we've got is an E minor. This is a really easy one to play. Only 2 fingers on there on the 2nd fret of the 5th and 4th strings there, alright? The rest is open. That's our E minor. And then finally our D major, just the 4th to the 1st string, open 4th, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then 2nd fret of the 1st string. That's our D major. So just to recap, we've got a G major, we've got a B minor, we've got a C major, we've got an E minor, and a D major. Alright, so let's get straight into how we play the intro. Now it's great that the strumming's really easy for you. You can just focus on your chord changes. So in the intro, we're going to start with 1 chord for each bar. We've got 4 bars for the intro, so we're going to start on a G major. We're just going to do down strums. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's going to be our strumming pattern for a lot of the song. Just a simple down, 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 down. And you'll hear that I am emphasizing on the beat a little bit more than off the beat. So you might want to try and do that, do a more full strum on the beat. That's our G major for the 1st bar. Then we're going to go onto a B minor, exactly the same strumming. Then onto a C major. And then back onto a G major. So that's 4 bars. We've got a G major to a B minor to a C major, and and then onto a G major. So let's work on that slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the whole intro. So let's work on it one more time to get it up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that's going to take us into the first verse. Now that verse is going to start exactly the same way. We're going through that chord progression just like we did for the intro, and we're going to play that 2 times. And then to finish off the verse, we're going to go onto a new chord progression. So just to recap, we've got and we're going to repeat that one more time, and then that will take us on to the next chord progression to finish off the verse. So it's going to be a C major, onto an E minor, and then onto a D major for 2 bars. So from our C major to our E minor to our D major, 2 bars. Now there is one little change that we can make that makes it sound even nicer in there, and it's a little more accurate to how it's played in the song. We're going C major, E minor, D major for 1 bar. So what I'm doing there is the second time we're playing the D major, we're going with our pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string to make a D suspended chord. That's 4 down strums, and then back to our D major, 4 down strums. So together that will be . That's a really nice little embellishment to add in there as well before we head into the next section. Now that next section is going to be another verse which is very similar to what we've just played, but the main difference is in the way that we play it. We're going to go. So you'll notice there that as I've been strumming already, I'm doing fairly consistent strums, but in this one, at the start of each chord, I want you to do one big strum. So you'll notice at the start of each bar, I'm going one big strum and then following on with the smaller strums. Hear the difference there? So really in the smaller strums, what I'm doing is not hitting all of the strings. I don't need to strum all of them. I'm just hitting some of the strings. So you'll see that my hand isn't moving across all of the strings. Alright, so that's how we're going to start off with verse 2. The only difference later on is going to be that we're playing the next chord progression through twice. C major again to repeat that, and then that's going to finish us off for verse 2. So twice through the G chord progression and then twice through the C chord progression. That'll take us straight into a chorus. Now to start the chorus off, we're going to start on a C major. We're going to go one full bar on a C major, then we're going to do 2 beats on a G major and 2 beats on a D major. So it should sound like this. That's our chord progression. So C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, D, 2. Then back to our C. And And then repeat that one more time, so that's 3 times altogether. And then we're going to go onto a C, E minor, then D, and then that's going to finish off the chorus for us. Then we're going to go 2 bars on the G major. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's an interlude, that's just 2 bars on the G major and then straight back into our verse. Now just to remind you, our verse begins on the G major, goes to a B minor, to a C major, to a G major. Then we're going to repeat that. Then we're going to do our C major, E minor, then D major for 2 bars, and repeat that whole thing one more time. And then that will take us out of the verse into another chorus. Now this chorus we're going to play exactly like we did before, and we're going to play it through 2 times, alright? So you already know that much, and then that's going to take us into a solo, then a bridge. Now the solo you've already learnt the first half of in the chord progression. It's the same as the verse, from your G to the B minor to the C to the G. The second half of the solo is going to be very similar. G, B minor, C, then a D major. And this is leading into a big climax where we've got a big bridge. Now this bridge is going to be similar to how we played half of the chorus before. We're going to start on our C major for 4 beats, then 2 on the E minor, 2 on the D major. The only difference is we're only playing on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you notice there that I'm not letting it ring out like that. I'm strumming and muting with my palm. So you might want to just practice that. So you might just want to practice getting your palm there to mute it. We're not slapping, we're just muting. We're going 4 beats on the C, 2, 3, 4, E minor, D major. And we're going to repeat that 2 more times after that. And the third time was going to go like this. Alright, so just single strum on the E minor, then single strum on the D major. Then we'll play that same chord progression a 4th time, just back to our original. And then that's going to end the main part of our bridge. We're then going to go onto another chord progression. Hopefully you're still following along at this point, but that next chord progression is just going to be the same as we've played the verse: G, B minor, C to the G. And go through that one twice with your... to finish off the bridge. So you already know that part, and we're nearly at the end of our song. Now after that bridge we've got 2 more choruses and then an outro. You already know the choruses. The outro is just going to be a simple same chord progression as the verse. And then we're going to end on a single G major strum. Now if you are struggling with those chord changes, or if you're looking to continue improving your strumming, don't forget to go check out that free 5-day beginner course in the description. And otherwise, that's all I've got for you today. That's Enchanted by Taylor Swift.